Hey, this is the solutions video for the test over chapters 5, 6, and 7, Math for Liberal Arts, Spring 2012. And this first question is the CEO of a company claims that its employees have a very high job satisfaction, and this was found with a sample report. This says 90%. The sample was 80% with an error of 5%. So we could say, we're confident, whatever level of confidence they do this at, it's between 75 and 85, but the CEO is saying 90%, so can we conclude that they're lying? Probably, because 80% is not in, or 90% is not in the confidence. I should say 90% is not in the confidence interval. Number 2, which participate or what kind of bias here? We have actually selection bias and participation bias, both. The way they selected it is they're just college students and they're trying to make an inference to all United States adults. That's a selection bias. And participation bias is it's voluntary. So they had a volunteer, so it had both types of bias here. Number 3, the sample were the 300 people that took the poll. And then we try to make an inference to everybody at the bank. So that's the population you're talking about, is all customers at the bank. Number 4, we're just supposed to make a little histogram there, and so make sure you have the intervals here, make sure there's no gaps, and then have your frequency on the left side. And then describe the shape. This definitely looks like it's skewed to the right, and there's definitely one major mound here, which we call that unimodal. I think I just counted that as 1 point if you had either of those. So unimodal or skewed right, it's actually both, and then this histogram. Number 5. If you have people call into a TV show, that's definitely a voluntary response bias. And number 6, it says correlation between coffee drinkers and anxiety. So they're saying coffee drinking causes anxiety. Number 1, this is not an experiment, so you can't prove causation, and there may be a correlation between just maybe anxious people just drink coffee. Or maybe people who drink coffee stay awake a lot, and it make them anxious, but the coffee's not doing it. It's maybe the lack of sleep. So if you do want to suggest some ways you could go about establishing causality, you have to do a randomized experiment, have a control group, and then manipulate that one variable of coffee drinking. Number 7, you're just supposed to make a scatter plot here. So it should look something like this. So it looks like the more money per capita there is, the higher the life expectancy. And I guess that's pretty much it. Just make a scatter plot. Number 8, that you're supposed to go ahead and draw the normal distribution and find what percent are less than 32 ounces. So it's nice. There's the 32. There's the average of 33.4. We're trying to figure out how far away this is and what's the area over here. So if you looked it up on the if you find the z-score, which is x minus the average, mu, divided by the standard deviation, you're going to get negative 1.17, which is about 1.2. And if you look that up in your z-table, it's going to give you 0.1151. So there's about 11.5% chance that you would find a bottle under 32. And then number 9, it says you can use 68, 95, 99.7. I accepted that, or z-scores, or either method is fine. So again, draw a picture. The average is 83. What percent are above 88? So that's 1 standard deviation above norm. And if you use the empirical rule, it's about 50% to the right. 34% is in between 0 and 1 standard deviation here. That leaves us about 16%. If you look that up in the z-table, it's pretty close to 16% as well. And then between 78 and 88, they're both 1 standard deviation. So it's the 68%. So you just put 68%. You could look up those z-scores and get pretty close to 68 as well. And then what percent are below 73? So we draw a line here at 73. It's 2 standard deviations below normal. And if 2 standard deviations is 95%, it would be in the middle. That means there's 2.5% in each tail. So that's how we get the 2.5%. Or you could look up -2 in your z-table. Number 10, just write the numbers in order. Find the middle, which is 15, and then find the middle of the bottom half and the middle of the top half. And I did this assuming 15, if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8, so that means there's 4, and 4. So the middle would be 3.5 here. So that'd be the quartile is 3.5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we include 15 in both top and bottom, and then there's 25.5 would be the third quartile, which is puts 4 here and 4 here. So the range is the highest minus the lowest, which is 32. Inner quartile range is Q3 minus Q1, which is 22. And then there's a box and whisker plot. Make sure you had a scale right here so we have a reference on where these numbers are at. And there's a lower extreme, first quartile, median, third quartile, and upper extreme. And number 10, then where's the top 10%? If you look up the top 10% on your Z table, it's about 1.3 standard deviations above normal. And if you're looking for the 50th percentile, well, that's right in the middle. That Z score is 0. On 12, we're supposed to find probability here. Probability that a person had no improvement. So you need to find the totals here, or we got the totals in each row and everything. So no improvement, 229 out of 500. What's the probability that a person improved or took a placebo? So improvement or placebo. So we go, there's 271 and there's 200, but we counted these 85 twice. So it's probability of the first plus the probability of the second minus the probability of both, because we counted these 85 people twice, which gives us 386 out of 500. What's the person that had probability that had no treatment and improved? So no treatment and they improved. So there they are, 41 out of 500. And the last one that made extra credit. What's the probability that a person had a drug allergy and given that they improved? So remember, the given means we're only going to look at the ones that improved. So we only look at the ones that improved. There's 271 total. And how many have gotten the allergy drug? 145 out of 271. So it's a little tricky. Remember, the given, whatever comes after given, that's your new, essentially, population you're going to compare it to. On 13, they had 203 accidents for 255,322 vehicles passing. What's that per thousand? So you just, it's just a proportion, cross multiply and divide. So about 0.8 accidents per 1,000 vehicles. A tourist, how many different routes could be taken? So there's essentially how many cities are there to choose from? The first 7, and then that one's gone too, so now there's only 6, and then 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. You multiply those out, which is the same thing as permutations, and that's 5,040. And then if you've got 9 songs to choose from, and I'll pick 5, so there's 9 to choose from, then 8, then 7, 6, then 5, and that's all we're playing is just 5 songs, so that's 15,120. And that is it. So I'm going to go back to the front here. Looks like there was 40 points possible, and there was a curve to this. So it's about I think it's almost a letter grade curve. So hope this helps you prepare for the next exam or for the final.